I hope the stream is clear. I have no idea. But today I was going to go into this little box, a couple boxes I have of past art that I've done in the past. But I think I want to kind of start with a story about my yesterday. Me making some bonehead, dumb choices. We was taking the dog to the groomers, and over at a animal hospital over in Dallas, and it's kind of like an all-day thing. And so dropped the dog off, and then did some grocery shopping and so forth, and then went to this park in Independence to sit by the Willamette River to wait until the dog got done. So that'd be like 4 hours or so. But had some lunch. But was kind of parked on a slopey hill like this. And, and so I set the parking brake. I didn't want to like roll off into the river. Well, it was a dog's turn to come home and to go pick up the dog, and I completely forgot that I had set the parking brake. And so I pull on out of there, and then into town, I hear this squeak, 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 squeak. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell's that noise coming from? Well, maybe it was just like some people working on shit in town. Well, squeak, squeak. Well, when I got a little faster, I didn't hear no squeak, squeak. Well, when I was getting down the road, and the back tire was going boom, 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 the whole car was just shaking, boom, 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 and holy crap, one of my wheels is going to come off. Boom, 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 boom. But then, I drove by, and there was a Les Schwab. I got my tires and stuff from Les Schwab. So I turned around, and I went back to the Les Schwab, and I just explained to him that this is just like, I don't know what's going on. I thought one of the wheels is going to fall off. But, I need to get my tires rotated anyway, just in case it's nothing. And so it was like supposed to be a 90-minute wait, but it didn't take that long. And so after the guy did a little test drive on it, I remembered that I had set the parking brake at the park. And then released the parking brake, and sure enough, there was nothing wrong with the car. It was just a close call. But man, that was kind of scary. But I got my tires rotated. So this here is one of my early pieces of art. I hope the stream is clear. If there's anybody that's like looking in, could you please come into the chat and say if this stream is blurry or it's clear. If it's blurry, then I'm just going to shut the stream off right now, because there's no point in me going forward if the stream is blurry. So I see that there's two people lurking in. Could one of you guys just come in and just tell me what the status of this stream is? Is it clear? Is it blurry? Whatever. Now this here is an early piece of art. So if it is clear, I wanted to tell you that this is painted on. Welcome, God where eyes, X's. Is the stream clear or is it blurry? Because can you see, does this show up clean or is it blurry? That's not what I want to know. So this is an very early piece of art, and I painted this on playing cards. There's like 1, 2, 3, there's like 3 times 3 is 9. There's 9 playing cards here. And this is very, very early on in my painting career, about 2016. I started painting in 2016. And so I'm just going to go move on, because it's been requested. It's been requested by some lady. That's me. I painted that. This is my work from the very beginning when I first started painting. And so this is kind of, so if you were to go back and look at one of my art streams that I did Don't do that again. Well, anyways, I thought that one was pretty cool. And this is that same quality. So there's people who've requested they wanted to see my early art. And so this is my early art. And so this one here, now this is kind of unique because this is before I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what I was doing at all. But you could see the playing cards are showing through here. They're showing through. And so this is like 9 years ago. I started painting 9 years ago. And here's another one from that same. This is the same year, but a little bit different. This is like a heart thing that lives at the bottom of the sea, and it does look like something else, but that's like completely by accident. For what the other thing it looks like is an accident, and it wasn't meant to look that way. And we're coming on. Then this is a painted object. And this is painted on losing scratch tickets. Because I'm a wordsmith. I do I've been writing poetry and doing stuff like that since like 1985 when I was like a teenager. But I, do different things, collage poetry, but so this is sort of a combination. My camera light's kind of, let's see, I can diffuse the camera light a little bit here so it's not so bright. And so it's kind of like just a painted object. Some of these painted objects you don't need to see. Now, this is one painted an object, like not a milk carton, it was some kind of other carton. It was a juice box titled The Eye of God, because here it is, God is looking in through the dimensions into your world, and God's just looking in, and then God is reaching up with his hand to crush it. God crushes the world. That's what God does. Sends nasty floods, burns cities down with fire and brimstone, and then does other things. God does things like this. Then we got, and a few others of these things. This is just just stuff I was doing in the early days. They're just, they're nothing spectacular. It's just stuff, cool things. It took me a while to figure out how to paint on these types of objects. They were, it's pretty cool. It is what it is. Well, go on into the next box. Let me put some of that stuff back. I know, those things are boring. I get it. Boring stuff in some of these boxes. All right, what is that? That's nothing. Okay, let's put some of the nothing things away. And then so this was this one again, the heart thing attached to the bottom of the sea. And though sometimes when you paint stuff early on, they do turn into masterpieces. This is, I think, is kind of, for me in my early times, it's very novel, it's very interesting. Now, You may not see it as interesting. You may see it as very first grader art, but then again, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's likely that a first grader, hopefully that wind isn't blowing across the mic. Let's see if I get my coat up here, I can cancel out the wind. But you know, this one is actually pretty kind of unique because when I photo processed it, and then I made some really cool images with this one when I photo processed it. And mainly because of this fluorescent paint here didn't show up as fluorescent red. It showed up as kind of like a greenish kind of a color. It's kind of weird when you're painting with fluorescent paints anyway, because they don't really behave in ways. They don't behave in ways in which how you think they should behave. Because if you put them on a flatbed scanner, they rarely the colors sometimes just don't show up at all. So now we're going forward into time. We're going to 2018. This is either I think this is 2018. I painted this in 2018. And so I still hadn't quite figured out what I was doing 2 years after I started painting. This might have been 2019, but I believe, but it does have some interesting features in it that with the way the light is and how the light is showing through in my use of color. So back in old 2018, because water is extremely hard to paint. I still am challenged with water. Water I find extremely challenging to paint. But what I like about this one is just the light as it's kind of coming through the water. And is this a moon or is this the sun? I think it's the moon actually. And so you have this moonlight, and it's just vibrant light that's on the sea, and it's kind of lighting up, and there's maybe some bioluminescent underneath the waves and underneath. And so so you have, it does have a sense of there's like two different levels of water. You have here, and then you have here, which is higher. The wave is just pushing this way. And so this is kind of cool. I know it's not all that advanced, but it is kind of cool. So in doing things early on, and I wasn't using a reference photo at all with this. I just completely conjured this out of my head. I know that I painted this in 2019, and I think I painted this under the influence. Yeah, I painted this under the influence in the fall of 2019 or summer of 2019. And at the time, I thought it was really cool. It's really simplistic. Yeah, it's kind of like finger painting and all that, but what the hell? You know, you gotta experiment. You gotta do things. You can't get bound up because your style just ain't there yet, you know. And that's the important thing to remember, is that when you're just starting out, and this was a time when I was just starting out, and 2019, that's only been painting 3 years, and I wasn't painting every day like I am now. I'm not painting every day now, but I'm doing it multiple times a week. And my style, if you were to look at what I did even 2 days ago that I live streamed, there's a definite difference in stylistically, even for stuff that I do quick and dirty and fast. My style at 9 years of painting is far different than it was at 3 years. Okay, we're moving on to another one from 2019. And this one is actually pretty cool too. It's just playing with color. A lot of what I was doing was just playing with color. I wasn't, maybe this was, this one there was two pieces that were done, and I pressed them together. And so I think I had the other one someplace. It might not be in this box though. But it just kind of was random. This was more of a random art. I put the colors, the paints down on the canvas, and I put two canvases together and then pulled them apart. And this was one of the images that I got out of it. And so it looks kind of like bugs' wings, and looks kind of like a butterfly wing. It's just, it's just what it is. It's just something fun. We're just doing things fun. And that's the important thing with when you're practicing art, is that you're doing fun things. And this is also from 2019. Yeah, it's nothing. There's nothing spectacular about this. I will admit that. But I like this color patterns here that I did here, because I did this with a roller. I did the painting with a sponge roller, and I was using pearl pigments. So they were really shiny, and they're really shiny. And so you had to wear a respirator mask when you painted with pearl pigments, or you were supposed to anyway. I don't know, for many times that I've accidentally breathed in those pearl pigments, and then for 2 or 3 days afterwards, your lungs just hurt like hell, just for a little bit. So it's best when you work with pearl pigments that you follow the directions and you use a respirator mask just like it says. Anyways, but it allows for a lot of cool light effects here. And then again, because I am a poet writer, I was just including some random words in it. I don't think it really works, but that's fine. It's a lot of what art is about experimentation. It's you live and you learn. You live and you learn. And maybe I probably won't do stuff like this anymore. I do other things with those losing scratch tickets, but I'm not necessarily incorporating them into my art anymore. So in that same style, using the pearl pigments and a roller, and I painted several of these in one particular year. I think maybe 4 or 5 of them. This was probably the second or the third one. But I always liked it because it has this sense of these tendrils of life, or these tendrils that are snaking away, that are coming into reality. And that's kind of how I thought about it when I was painting them. And so you do have some thoughts when you paint. You're not totally doing everything stream of consciousness, but I kind of was with these, because I tend to paint stream of consciousness style. So anyways, that one, also 2019. I think that these ones might have been 2018. If I remember right, they were kind of in between. Yeah, they were. Some of these were 2018. I think that this one was 2018. So this was 2 years after I started painting. And this is just another one of those abstracts where you're experimenting around with very bright colors. And I know that I probably did this one in 2020. Because I was playing around with paintings called Wildfire Skies. In 2020 and 2021, I did these Wildfire Skies paintings. And I think I did this one in that time period. All right, I'm gonna move on. I got a few more in this box. The stars are starting to come out. It's getting really dark out right now. I'll just show you. I'll just go turn the camera around. And you can just see how dark it is. Now, of course, with my camera light that I have right beside me, it does help to bring out some of the colors and so forth. I'll turn the camera back around. And okay, so I had showed you that one that where I put paint on. I'll just show you. This is the other side of it. So I put paint, just smeared it on this birchwood canvas, and then I took another canvas and just smooshed it right on top, and I made two, and so this is like the second one that came out of it. And so that's kind of just, those are just kind of fun things to do. And it's just that you're just playing with colors. And I think I went back over it and maybe added some glitter or some other things. But it's kind of a fun thing to do a really quick and a quick one. You know, it's just a quickie. Yeah, that's right. It's just a quickie. And we're gonna come on down, and I'm almost done. Just some more earlier art. Just this is nothing spectacular. It's just color. It's just, you know, it's color. So it's this is for a person who just likes color. And you know, a lot of people have paintings like this in their house. You know, I remember a time when I went to the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco. One of my buddies from college took me down to where he grew up, because he grew up in Palo Alto, and that was in Palo Alto before it became Silicon Valley. So that was, I visited Palo Alto in the 1990s, and so he took me and a bunch of other people so we were like college roommates and so forth, down into a Museum of Modern Art, and I was always struck by this one painting in the Museum of the Modern Art, which was just solid white, and it had 4 screws, like sheetrock screws in the corners, like one in each corner. So it was like a piece of white sheetrock that was nailed up to the wall, and I think it had a title that said "The Expanse." So to you, yeah, a person could say that. Hi, Ann. Hi, Ann. Welcome. I hope that you're feeling better. I've had a migraine all day myself. But anyways, and so, you know, this is just a bunch of colors. So, yeah, it looks simple. It looks like something that any idiot can do. But you know what? I just think back to that painting that I saw in the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco. It was just a white piece of sheetrock, 4 screws, one in each corner, and with $1 million price tag on it. So some famous artist can sell that painting for $1 million, and me, I can't even get $5 for this one. Why? Because I have no name. I'm a no-name artist, and so if you're a no-name artist, anything you do is crap. It's crap, because because if you don't have a famous name, then you can't get a good price on anything that you try to sell. So no name means anything you come up with is crap. And so like this here is crap, because I do not have a famous artist name. All right, so we'll just get that cleared and out of the way. But I still think that is a good composition with a lot of nice color. It's really bright and it's really interesting. And then I have just 2 more in the box. Now this one is like, I call this one a glimpse through Mother Earth's eye. A glimpse through Mother Earth's eye. Yes, and I do realize, like I just said, I don't have a name. I don't have a famous artist name. I just some random idiot online doing stuff, and a random idiot online who does some painting and some crap like that. But This I did in 2019, and this is where I was at in 2019. And this is, I think I used a palette knife with this. Yeah, I did use a palette knife, but I always got this sense like you were looking on the backside of like a hole in the ground. You know, you're in a cave and you're looking through the cave and you're looking into the world. And that is what this is. That's what this painting is. Simple as it may be, but that's kind of the thought. There's the mountains in the back, and you're looking out from a crack in the sky or a crack in a mountain, and there's roots and there's stuff, grasses and hanging down, but through all that, there's the sky, and there's some mountains, there's some light, and there's just a different point of view, a different perspective, and that's what this is all about, just a different perspective. Yes, I know it's simple, and if you're just looking in and you think, oh yeah, that's something, yeah, my second grade kid did a painting that was better than that. All right, great, good for them, good for them. And this was another from that time period. That's that whole pearl pigments and using a roller to do that. And then I just made a little face out of these, some words from these losing scratch tickets. And so I'll just read some of those words off to you. So, lamb-like puppet, a lamb-like puppet. You who are a lamb-like puppet, look through the world with eyes of cynicism, with eyes of the cynic. You who are a lamb-like puppet, ride a jet through the sky like a jar full of people, a tube. A jet is like a jar. You uncork the jar and all the people come out of the jet. They are aloof. They ooze like moss on wet rocks in the forest. They ooze down wet rocks in the forest. Tractors, toy tractors, tents tamper with the yoke of life. Plowing the ground under, making it different, fertile for another. Thank you. Thank you, Arise. Thank you. And so that is my little tour through past paintings. And the stars are starting to come out, so I'm going to just put these away, and you can take a look at them as I put them away in the box. And that was a glimpse through the Mother Earth's eye at the world. A glimpse through Mother Earth's eye at the world. This was just some color. Some random color on the page, just nice bright colors, random colors. You know, there is no right or wrong way how to hang this. And then I'm gonna pull that butterfly one out here on the other side so you can see. And then these were just some colors, just some bright colors, just like that story I told about that piece in the Modern Art Museum, this is really not much different than anything like that. Not to say that one was spectacular, the white expanse, because it was painted by some famous artists, and you know, famous artists are far better at painting than no-named artists are. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm not sorry. I'm just playing my sense of humor out at you. And then we had this one. It's another one of these like no-name artist kinds of playing with color and words and so forth. And then we come on over to, these are my butterfly ones. And so, as I explained earlier, I put paints on one side, paints on, I think I probably painted the backgrounds first, and then I put some more paints on them. And paint on here, I think paint on this one, and then I just took these things and I put them together and I pulled them apart, and this is what came of it. And so you can kind of see right here, it's like the head of a butterfly. Right there, the head of a butterfly. And so these are kind of companion pieces. These are companion pieces. And yeah. So I'll put that back in there. And then we have this one, just plain with color. Plain with color again. Then another one, trying to paint water. And that was it. There's 2 boxes of paints. It's dark out now. Let's see how dark it is if I turn the camera around, if you can see anything at all. You can see that tree, but this camera light I have right here illuminates things. I can't see anything, but I see it's a lot lighter this way. And so that's all I got for today. I'll be back on tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, and doing an interview with a channel called Truth Wave. And Saturday night I'll do something random after I work at the art store, the place that has my art for sale. And then on Sunday afternoon at 1:30, I'm going to be interviewing Alexis Milner again, and we're going to be talking about caregiving and being caregivers for others and the challenges about that. So this is 999 Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. For everyone who pushed the like and sub button, thank you very much. And to my sister out there who popped in to say hello, we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.